Well, joining me now is Nicola Willis, National's finance spokesperson. And Nicola, a bit of a challenge there from the finance minister. Where would National cut spending in order to try and tame inflation?
Well, we'd take a disciplined approach to any new spending. For context, this government has increased government spending by an additional $52 billion between 2017 and this year. So that is a lot of extra money in the economy. We'd have ministers going through line by line. Are they getting maximum bang for buck? Is that money delivering more services, better outcomes? Because if it isn't, it shouldn't stand.
So will there be austerity? Will it be health? Will it be education? Or does everything up to this point stand in its future spending that the party will be looking at?
What we want to ensure is maximum results for the spending that occurs. So we're not talking about cuts, we're not talking about austerity, but we are talking about value for money. So things like, is this the time to be doing a $500 million restructure of the health system? We'd prefer to see that money going into more operations, more services, better mental health care.
But wouldn't that be a cut?
Well, what we're saying is in this budget, the minister is promising an additional $6 billion. That is the biggest spend up in a budget in New Zealand's history. And we're concerned that that could add more fuel to the inflationary fire. He needs to assess every proposal very carefully to ensure that it is adding value.
So National would cut that $6 billion that's been dedicated to health for the restructure?
Well, we've said a priority for us would be tax relief for working New Zealanders. That would cost around $1.7 billion, and that's because we know how tough Kiwis are doing it right now. They're making very difficult choices every time they go to the supermarket with every bill they pay, so that's a priority for us.
They are, and it's low and middle income families that are feeling that the most. Some economists say they are behind by about $200 a week. Would you support targeted payments to them to help them get through this tough inflation period?
Well, what we've said with our tax package is let's allow for the fact that inflation has pushed people into higher and higher tax brackets. So our package would mean that an average income household would benefit to the tune of $1,600 a year. And we think that that is sensible and prudent right now, particularly because the government has taken in billions more dollars in tax. We think let's give a little bit back to Kiwis who need it right now.
Absolutely, but $1,600 is not going to cover the shortfall if they're behind a couple of $100 a month, is it?
Absolutely, I acknowledge that it's not going to make anyone rich, but the alternative that Grant Robertson is offering to the squeezed middle is $0. Unless you get a Working for Families entitlement, he's not offering any increase, and we think that a modest increase will help.
It's better than nothing.
That's right.
Nicola Willis, thanks so much for joining us here this evening.